I recently came across a post in the Salesforce subreddit asking about a flow to count both tasks and events on an object but sorted by created date. What they're trying to do is create a scheduled flow that counts the tasks and events on lead records and mark the most recent three uh, with a checkbox that says it's within the three most recent. The challenge here is that events and tasks are different objects as well. I could easily get all tasks or all events and sort those by date and mark them. I'm having trouble combining the two and considering the group altogether in chronological order by created date. Is this possible to do with a flow? Yes, it is possible to do with a flow. There was some other suggestions. One was to use two trigger flows or also an apex trigger, but I think that this is possible to do with one scheduled flow as the person was requesting. In a developer org, I've created some tasks and events to for testing purposes. I have some events here, and I've also created a scheduled flow. First thing first, this is for demonstration purposes, basically proof of concept to show how you could achieve this. I would not recommend using this in a production environment, and I am definitely not responsible if you do and break something. The original poster was asking about tasks and events on the lead object. For this demonstration, I have not actually chosen an object, but the functionality should be basically the same if you limit this just to leads, for example. First thing I do is I get the tasks and the events. If you were if you were if you wanted to do this with leads, um, you would want to set some conditions to match the task with the associated lead that you are working with. But basically, I'm just getting all of my tasks sorted by created date from newest to oldest, getting all and automatically storing all fields. The events element is the same, just with events. Once I've gotten my records, I will use a collection sort to once again sort them by created date, descending order, and this part here is important. How many items to keep after sorting? Set the maximum number of items to 3. Again, this is the same for both of these. One is tasks, one is events. Once I've done this, now I have two collection variables, each with a maximum of 3 records. I loop through both of those collections. I loop through the tasks and I loop through events. And then I assign the created date to a variable, a date time variable, to store the created date. I also assign the created date variable to a collection variable of created dates. I do that for tasks and events. Now I have a collection variable with 6 date times, basically the 6 most recent date times that tasks or events were created combined together. I do another collection sort on that, my created dates collection variable, and I once again limit the records to 3. So now I have the date and time that the 3 most recent records were created, and I will again loop through the tasks and the events collection variable. Just to show you this, looping through the original get tasks, first to last. Once again, these are both the same, just one is events, one is tasks. I have a decision element which checks to see if my collection variable of created dates contains the created date of the current item. I do that for each of the items in the tasks collection. And for the purpose of simplicity and demonstration, I'm updating the record inside the loop. Ordinarily, you would not want DML inside a loop. You would use assignments and update the record outside the loop. I knew I was only working with a maximum of 3 records here, so I wasn't too worried about running into a governor limit, but I would recommend for production purposes to always have any DML, basically your pink boxes here, outside of any loop. So if the um, if the task created date is inside that collection variable, then I update that task. I'm just adding a note into the description top 3. I don't have a custom checkbox on here. This is a pretty standard out of the box developer org. So I'm just updating the description. Again, doing that for both events and tasks. If I debug this flow and I scroll down here on the right, we will see that I've updated an event here. I've updated an event here. And I updated a task. I know this was the newest one that I created. Scroll down and I should see top 3. There we go. And then I should also have 2 events, which were marked as top 3. Top 3. So it can take a little bit for the update to show up. But if I go to this one, it should not be marked. It's not. If I go to some of my other tasks, so as you can see, I updated 3 records total, 2 events, 1 task, and basically flagged them as the top 3. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.